Well, good morning, ladies and gents. Hopefully you're all doing well. I hope you all have a good week. So today's video is going to be an interesting one. So I will do a video today talking about the Inums. I want to kind of move the subject away from Jonathan Jolie a little bit, because I know I've done a few videos about him and I don't want to keep going on about the situation with him, and obviously I will be reporting him in a little while. I've decided that I will be reporting him to social services. I don't think I'll report him to the police because there's no crime going on, but I will definitely report him to social services and make them aware of what he's doing. But anyway, moving on from him today, I wanted to talk about the Inums. So obviously the European road trip has come to an end. I mean, obviously, the views for the travel vlogs are just appalling. You know, when you go back and you look and you see just how bad the views were for the travel vlogs. It's not really hard to see why. You know, it's a miracle. I think it's only a miracle that they're still vlogging at this point. I think we all know why they're still vlogging as well. It's not because they enjoy doing YouTube, or YouTube is something they love doing. We all know that the only reason that they're still vlogging and haven't already quit is because they're still making money. You know, they'll only quit YouTube if YouTube was to decide to demonetize all family vlogging channels. It would have a huge impact, but I know that the Inums are not. It's not just the Inums who want to stick around if they weren't making money from YouTube. You know, they would hear off without a shadow of a doubt, because they can all say about how they do YouTube to create, like they create memories and things like that. But with a lot of these family vloggers, it's become, like, over time, it's become so blatantly obvious that they're only in it for the money. And that's the only reason they're doing, that's the only reason they're doing YouTube, is because they want the money that comes from doing that. They're only interested in the fame and fortune side of things. And the Inums are a very good, are a prime example of that. Chris and Sarah are two people who are only in it for the money. We all know that if they weren't making any money from this, they wouldn't still be doing YouTube. That's the only reason that they haven't already quit. I mean, their views would be, would be very, very low. And they wouldn't necessarily care, because they're still, they're still making money at the end of the day. That's all that matters to them, is the fact that they're making money out of doing this. They wouldn't be doing it if we all know that Chris and Sarah wouldn't be doing YouTube if they weren't making any money from it. Because we all know it's their main source of income, regardless of what they say. People say, oh, we're jealous of the Inums because they have money and we don't. But why do the Inums have money? The only reason that the Inums have the money that Chris and Sarah have the money they have is because they've exploited their kids for the last several years and basically broadcasted every single part of their kids' lives online for public consumption. And that's not something to be proud of. The fact that they've, at the end, as it's true, we all know that they wouldn't be doing YouTube if they weren't making money from it. The reason, and that's the only reason they haven't already quit YouTube, is because they're still making money. It's like, things are pretty bad for their channel at the moment with regards to their views and things like that. Their views are very low. And I think any normal person would quit YouTube if things had gotten this bad. But we all know that the only thing that's keeping them going, and the only thing that's keeping that's the only reason that they haven't decided to give up and they haven't already quit YouTube, is because they're still making a certain amount. They're still making a decent amount of money from that. It's not. All I can say is it's not really Chris and Sarah that are keeping the channel alive. Keeping the channel alive. The only ones that are keeping the channel alive are the kids. That's what it is. It's the kids that are keeping that channel alive. You know, if they stopped showing the kids in their vlogs, I think we would see a massive decrease in the views. But I don't think that many people genuinely watch the vlogs. Because it's like, seriously, it's like, how many people actually genuinely watch the vlogs because they want to watch Chris and Sarah? I think the majority of people watch the vlogs because they want to watch the hits, you know, and that's what results in the view. And Chris and Sarah know that. They know that the more they have the hits in the vlogs, the more views they get, which means that which also means that they'll be making more money as well. Because if the hits are not in the vlogs, it means less views, and it ultimately means that Chris and Sarah are not making as much money as they'd like to be making from the vlogs. You know, I mean, anyone with an ounce of common sense knows that the only reason they haven't already quit is because they're still making a decent amount of money from doing YouTube, and that's the only thing that's really keeping them going. You know, it's not hard to see that. It's not hard to. I think it's not really hard to see that Chris and Sarah are only in it for the money, and they're not in it for anything else. They are only in it for the money. And if YouTube suddenly decided that channels like that, they were going to demonetize channels like theirs, the others wouldn't stick around. You know, the others were, the others would quit without a shadow of a doubt. They wouldn't stick. Chris and Sarah wouldn't stick around if they weren't making money from doing what they're doing. That's the only reason that they have not already quit, is because they are still making money from this. That's all it comes down to. You know, it's not about the fact that they enjoy doing YouTube and they love doing YouTube. That doesn't even come into it. You know, the only reason that we all know the real reason that they're still doing YouTube. We all know the real reason that they're still doing YouTube is because they're still making money from it. And I know that they'll never admit that that they're only doing YouTube for the money. And I know they won't admit that is the reason why they haven't already quit. But we all know it is. You know, anyone with an ounce of, as I say, anybody with an ounce of common sense knows that. You know, it's very hard to see. Hard to see how people can't see that. It's very clear to see. It's so blatantly obvious that people like them are only doing YouTube for the money and nothing else. You know, they're not in it for anything else. They're only in it for the fame and fortune. You know, it's the same with people like the Honey Jolies. You know, they're only in it for the fame and fortune. Family Fears, I feel like Georgie and Darren are only in it for Georgie and Darren only do YouTube for for money, for the fame and fortune. I feel like Ben and Zoe Sullivan are only doing YouTube for the fame and fortune, nothing else. You know, so it's not just the Inhams that only do YouTube for the money. But, you know, they say they deny it all they want. But it's become too obvious at this point that that the only reason they haven't already quit YouTube is because they're still making a decent ton of money. You know, off of the vlogs. That's the only thing that's keeping the channel going. You know, is them trying to get views and things like that. But things are just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse before they get better. This is the problem. You know, things at this point, it's like things are not going to get any better for the channel. The only vlogs that are really pulling in a decent amount of views are the Christmas vlogs. Things are not going to get any better for their channel. Things are going to keep getting worse before they get any better. You know, I mean, I honestly don't know if things could even get any worse for the channel than they are now. You know, I think things are already bad enough for their channel. You know, and I mean, I think, well, I suspect that right now they've returned home. I suspect that the views are suddenly going to start creeping up again. I mean, yeah, they've been, really, really low over the last few weeks, with the travel vlogs and everything. But now they're back home, I suspect that the views will suddenly start, creeping back up again a little bit, and they'll start getting like 20, 30 views, 20, 30k views. Like they'll probably start getting like 30,000 or 30k views per day again, something like that. But the views, not that but the views normally always do creep up. Like when they're at home, you do tend to see a slight increase in the views. So let's just have a look and see what yesterday's vlog is currently sitting on. It was actually uploaded a little bit late yesterday. So it's currently sitting at 21,000 views. With the vlog from Friday only sitting at 22,000 views. And it's not hard to see why. So there you go. That's the thing. Like yesterday's vlog is sitting at 21,000 views. That is embarrassing for a channel that is registering over, that prides itself on having over 1.3 million subscribers. Especially when you think about the fact that there are other channels out there with less subscribers than that are actually pulling in way more views. That's the most hilarious thing about this. It's the fact that there are channels out there with less subscribers that are actually putting less subscribers in the inums, that are actually pulling in more views in the inums, ironically. And there's a very good reason for that, because the content is actually on these channels is better than the content that the inums are putting out. When you look at the sort of content they're putting out there these days, it just doesn't feel like their hearts are really in it anymore. And it doesn't feel like their hearts have really been in it for a long time. It feels like they've not, it feels like they're not as dedicated to it, they're not as dedicated to YouTube as they used to be. Like, it feels like they're not really putting any effort into what they put out there, And I just feel like if they were putting more of an effort into the content that they were putting out there on their channel, maybe their views would be a little bit better. Maybe things would be better for their channel in general. I think the biggest cause of their downfall has been, clickbait vlog titles. As let's face it, throughout this European road trip, there has been a lot of clickbait vlogs that have been uploaded to their channel, and that is going to do a lot of damage to a channel, because people don't watch the vlogs, they don't watch it for clickbait, and Hus and Sarah need to realise the damage, and need to think about the damage they're doing to their channel with the constant clickbait vlog titles and things like that. Because they're doing more harm to their channel than they are actually doing any good. Someone had to say it. They are doing more harm to their channel than they are doing any good. And, as I said, things are not going to get any better for their channel. Things are just going to keep getting worse. We all know that Hus and Sarah will only stop vlogging and doing what they do when if YouTube decide to demonetize all family vlogging channels and stop family vlogging channels from being able to make money off their hits, which is what a lot of them are doing. This is what a lot of these family vlogging channels are. It's just parents exploiting their hits and making money off their hits. And if YouTube was to put a stop to that and demonetize all family vlogging channels, it would be bye-bye inums. But do people honestly believe that the inums would still be doing YouTube if they weren't able to make money from that? But I don't think they would. I think they'd be gone. You know, I honestly don't. It's honestly very hard to believe that the Inhams would still want to be doing YouTube if they weren't making money from that. Because we all know that's the only reason that they're still doing YouTube is for the money. You know, it's like, why would they? It's like as I said before, it's like, why would they quit? You know, even though they're that things, I mean, they know, I think they know that they probably know that things are really bad for their channel at the moment. The views are shit. You know, and like people are losing interest in their channel, etc., etc. But they'll keep going. They won't quit because they're still making money. It's like, why would they want to stop doing something? Why would they quit doing something when they're still able to make money from doing that? They're not gonna quit YouTube while they're still making money from doing that. They'll only stop once if YouTube stop them from stop channels of people like them from being able to make money from doing what they do. But until then, the Inhams will keep doing what they do. They won't stop because they're still making money from that. That's all they care about. You know, they don't care about their kids. All they care about is exploiting their kids for money and making money off their kids. You know, I'm not jealous, and I never will be jealous of what Chris and Sarah have. Because the only reason that Chris and Sarah have what they have is their kids. Their kids are basically funding their parents' lifestyles. You know, they're enabling their parents to live these luxury lifestyles. You know, we all know that the Inhams would not have what they have if it wasn't for their kids. You know, they wouldn't be able to afford the things they can afford if it wasn't for their kids. I don't care about how much money they have because we all know where that money's coming from. We all know why they have that money. That money, we all know that money has come from them exploiting their kids and broadcasting their kids' lives online for public consumption. You know, it's not like they've actually worked for that money. It's not like they've done it's the kids that have done all the work. You know, it's the kids that have earned all the money. It's not Chris and Sarah that have done that. I mean, yeah, Chris and Sarah, it's not Chris and Sarah that are doing all the work. It's the kids that are doing that. It's the kids that are having to. I mean, kids even have to work on their birthdays and Christmas. They don't get a break then. They're still being filmed all day long then. You know, it's like, it would be nice to see the kids get them to enjoy their birthday without being filmed the whole entire time, but they'll never get that. That's a luxury they'll never get. They'll never get to enjoy Christmas without being filmed. And then again, that's another luxury they'll never get. You know, it's just ridiculous, that people can't see that the Inhams are only in it for the money and that and that's the only reason they haven't already quit. As we all know it is. And the sooner people start seeing that, start realising that, the better. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on the situation. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.